Hi, I'm Kripakran. I'm working on building history, histre.com. It's a tool that automatically creates bookmarks and things like that for you. Uh, I'm, have a cup of coffee with you and talk about some things about history and related stuff, and just share. That's the plan here. Today, I want to talk about hiring and various challenges and lessons learned. As you know, hiring programmers is pretty hard. um, but I'm a programmer myself, so you'd think it would be much easier. It's still hard. I just want to go through like some of the things that I've done and some of the things that I hope to try. Right. Um, the I'm bootstrapping history, but still, it's really, really nice to have someone else also work on the project because the momentum is very, very motivating, right? Like it's not just you doing something. Yeah, for the past year or so, this programmer that I've mentioned before in the earlier videos, Abraham, he has been helping me, yeah, as a contractor. I really like the way he works, and he's very good. His The startup he had worked on in the past is now taking off, so he's taking some time working on that. Wish him all the best. He's a great guy. But it's really rare to come across someone like that. The way I came across him was I was at that time, a few years ago, building this tool called Instant Explorer. It was a tool for a white label tool for companies to use, data companies to use on their um, website. Um, and it was to connect their website to Salesforce and Google Sheets and places like that automatically. And it's a white label solution, so it wouldn't seem like they're using a third party solution. It was an alternative to Zapier and people like that. So, but Zapier, you send your users off to Zapier, which is not a great experience. You want an in-app experience. Anyway, so that's just a brief description of what I was doing. And during that time, I hired 3 programmers over time, all via Upwork. And even though that project didn't go anywhere because I didn't get traction, I really liked working with Ibrahim at that time. And then when I started history, he's the first person I reached out to, and he's been great, right? Uh, and so now, while he's busy, I need to find someone else. And even if he wasn't busy, I was planning to bring another person in. Now that I feel like I've validated history a little bit, I would like the progress to be happening much faster. And that was the sort of the reason behind why I started looking. And coincidentally, around that same time, Abraham had to like ramp down his hours. He's still involved, and I, hope to still get us feedback on various things, code reviews, people that I'm considering for hiring, and things like that. So that's sort of the context. Okay, so let me go through what problems I typically face, right? You know, um, you get a ton of applications, and then for your job post, and you have to go through them and try to kind of figure out, just from that brief reply that they have, if they are going to be in any way, anyway, the right hire. So you want to do like a short list, right? Like based on that, which is surprisingly difficult, it turns out, because you don't want to dismiss people too early, or based on something frivolous. And let me put it this way. Maybe you can pare it down by, say, 30 to 50%. So if you get like 50 applicants, and this was on Upwork, I need to have more channels for hiring. But I've been trying Upwork mostly. So you get a bunch of applications. I have a few questions there, and I go through what people have answered. And then if it is the like really low effort application, it's easy to kind of archive their application. So then you end up with a bunch, and you still need to like go through them, ask them questions. It's all very time consuming, is what I'm trying to say. Even if you're a programmer who knows exactly what kind of person you want, but I think it's all really worthwhile. So getting, I believe that talent is everywhere, all over the world, but opportunity is not. So there is this, if you can identify people who are really, 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 really good, but at the same time are affordable because they live in a place where the cost of living is low, or that's basically it. And I've the counterpoint to that is, hey, so why don't you pay a lot of money, and then you allow all the programmers you want, and then it would be your choice. Like that's kind of like the counterpoint. I don't really buy that very much. I don't think my issue here is that I'm looking for quote unquote cheap programmers. I'm not. It's just actually figuring out who is really good. That problem exists at any price level. But I am bootstrapping. I'm using my savings to fund this project. So naturally, if I find somebody who is not expensive, then that gives me more leeway to try a lot of things, and for building the product. So that's an understandable motivation at any price level, right? The bigger challenge is actually figuring out who is good. there is no shortage of the number of applicants, but figuring out who's going to, who's good, who's great in the long run, who will be great in the long run, is all like, so those are the things that I'm grappling with. But I do have a process now, having done this for several years now. And it could be improved further. So the basics of that process is, it's derived from this blog post that Derek Sivers made a while ago, where he talks about how you have in the project requirement, you put in like, hey, reply with this line so that I know you're not a spammer. And then if there are a bunch of replies without that line, you right away archive them, because you're only going to have problems later if they can't follow simple instructions. And then for the people who did pass that filter, you go through their profiles quickly, see if they've done a decent job in the past, and give them a small project. And then that basically serves as an interview. You pay for it, So I pay for this initial project, and basically everyone I've tried to hire has been very appreciative of this, because apparently it's not done. They are usually asked to spend some time, some of their own time during the interview process, which I don't think is very fair, especially if it's multiple hours. So give them a short project, hire them for it, get them to work on it, and if they do a really good job, continue to work with them for the bigger project. If they don't, then you give them full 5 stars, wish them well, and move on. You don't mess with that, obviously, because it's their livelihood. So the project that I have recently used is kind of derived from one of the features I'm working on for history. It is to be able to highlight sections of a website and how that persisted. And there are a couple of libraries that I give them. And so I have this project description that goes through like, workflow, what exactly needs to happen. But it's not, it's intentionally not 100% complete, the specs, because one of the qualities I like to see that I'm selecting for is them iteratively figuring out the full specs before they start the project. And you'd be surprised. So this one person, he was very good on paper. He has a lot of experience, but he didn't ask anything. And that would have been, I thought maybe he like intuited what the solution was going to be. And then when so I actually like suggested that he take an hour that I would pay for, and write out the project plan from his perspective, like what exactly he's going to do. He refused. He said, well, I don't like to do, like short, 1 or 2 hour gigs. Either you give me the project or not. And I was like, okay, wow, maybe there is a difference, and maybe it's a cultural difference. Maybe there's a difference in perspective. So I had a little longer chat with him. Could you, okay, that's fine. We don't have to start the project. Could you just tell me what you plan to do? And he, like just briefly take 5 minutes and just tell me what you would like to do here. He had this really complicated solution involving um, it was this Rube Goldberg type solution involving serverless, cloud functions and things like that, which was totally not required. So that was something, and that's one funny thing about hiring. You come across all these zany characters, which is fun. You know, they are not your average person. Um, I do enjoy that. And I was thankful that we figured that out early, that it wasn't going to work with this one person. So and he also, when I asked a follow-up question, he just didn't reply, right? But this is kind of like this extreme case. Most of the times it's just like this, oh, this could be workable, but I'm not sure yet. And that's where the project helps. And when you actually look at the delivery of the project, then you have something concrete to go by, right? Like in an ideal world, the programmers would have an open source project that they contribute to, and you look at it and you right away know, wow, this person is great. But that's never the case. I'm a programmer. I don't have any big open source projects that I can share. I've done a lot of consulting in the past, and when clients ask me if I have open source or any code I can share, all my time was taken up in paid projects, and obviously paid projects are heavily NDA'd, and I can't really share anything, right? So that's why I don't really think that it's reasonable to expect everyone to have an open source project that you can evaluate them by. That would be nice. Yeah, so even with the applications and then the projects, they do you can only spend so much on trying out various people, because the project that I had, I estimated that if I were to do it, it would take me a day, like 8 hours. So I asked them for an estimate. If it is in the same ballpark, like, 8 from anywhere from less than a day to 2 days, then I ask them to, I start the project with them, and they work on it. So I do like to hire people who are better than I am in at least a few aspects, because it's really fun to learn from who you're working with, and B, that just saves so much hassle. The temptation is like, okay, maybe if I wrote the specs really, really well, I can work with anyone. But my experience so far has been that that's not really the case. You need someone who's actually very good in order to build something that doesn't fall apart after more and more features get added to it. You need someone very thoughtful, and those are rare qualities no matter where in the world you look for that. And I know this archetype of this ideal programmer I'm looking for, and I'm still looking, and I have a few candidates who are promising, but there's no clear winner yet. And this is an aspect of company building that is really worth spending a lot of effort on. So I'm continuing to do that, and wish me the best. I'll share more as I find out more, learn more. So talk to you soon. Bye.